Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tilting Ground with Michael Muto. As all of the loyal listeners know that I haven't posted in a while, I've been on vacation, a rather long one. And on vacation, I missed the Democratic convention. I need to know what's going on there and what else is going on in the world of politics. So I had to call my two guys, Justin Glenn and Tim Foy.
Yay!
Here they are. I promised Tim Foy that I would not stifle his speech like I did the last couple times with my bad editing.
The people need to hear me.
The truth will be told.
So what did I miss at the DNC? The one thing I did see was Michelle Obama being her unflappable, poised, charismatic self. I did catch that.
She definitely crushed it.
Yeah.
As much as I hated the DNC, she definitely was one of the high water marks. Like it was a very good speech.
Yeah, they had also compared to the Republican side, a very normal convention. The former presidents and stuff coming out to support. It's very different than Trump with the Scott Baio and.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, they set the bar pretty low.
Right, exactly.
Well, in their defense, I will defend them that if you were a real Republican candidate who has a political future, you don't want your name on that playbill.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't want any part of this. They did the best they could with what they had.
Yeah, I mean, it was hilarious because even like the former candidates, you had Rubio giving him his support but not showing up, Cruz showing up but not giving him his support.
That was probably the well. I mean, are we switching gears to the RNC?
Apparently we are.
We'll just start light. Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. That the amount of the size of Ted Cruz's balls to go out and just to just basically say, hey, you don't have to vote for this guy if you don't want to. I mean, well played, sir. Well played.
The Ted Cruz Donald Trump feud reminds me what a horrible person I am because I hate them both and I just get happy when they both take shots at each other, even though it's like I hate the one taking the shot, like.
It's like, can they both lose?
Exactly.
I mean, they're pretty close to both losing all the time. You're not too far off the mark.
Yeah, this is definitely true. This is definitely true.
So I really don't think there's that much to mine from the Republican convention, and besides, it was kind of goofy.
Kind of is the understatement of the century. I mean, it was very goofy.
They did put 400 American flags on the stage, and that was more than the Democrats, so they can claim they're more patriotic.
Well, that's because they love America more, dude.
Of course.
I mean, that's just evident.
I love that. Was like
the party of America.
Right. The best criticism when the Democrats were having their convention was like Republicans, like, "Where's the American flag?" It's like there's a couple there. There's not 400. It's not the way you guys would do it. But it's like that.
Too many.
They had no criticism about what they're saying or anything like that. Just it's not American enough for me.
Well, they didn't even have a lot to say in their own speeches, right?
Yeah.
Scott Baio was hilarious when they questioned him about the stuff he put up on Twitter. But the DNC, I think it was formulaic and it was good in the sense that when you compare it to the RNC, which was a complete shit show, I found it to be kind of I mean, again, I'm the guy who's leaving the Democratic Party, so I know I'm not the most unbiased person in the world, but I will say that I thought that, and this is it falls in line with my critique of Kane, in that it was his speech was very it wasn't uber inspiring. I thought Obama did a great job, but I mean that's what he does. He's an excellent orator.
He is, yeah. He's a fantastic speaker.
Yeah. I thought Hillary Clinton. I think it was bad per se, but I didn't think it was great. I just think that
it wasn't good, but it was Hillary. That's who she is.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
And it was almost like that's as good as you can get. Like she's not going to inspire people, but just saying like, yeah, I am a policy wonk. I do care about the little things. It does contrast her well with Trump. And it's almost as good as you can get from her because she's never going to give a speech that people are going to be stoked on, you know?
Well, I didn't get a chance.
True.
I didn't get a chance to hear Hillary at all. So what were some of her good talking points, Justin?
Oh God, I'm the wrong person to ask. I mean, again, it was more about her attempt to humanize herself. I mean, she did go into detail about the things that she's done.
Best line in the speech for me. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm gonna say
you go.
The best line in the speech was "Don't trust anyone who says I alone can fix it," which is what Trump just said in his speech a week before. That
was good. Yeah, that was good.
That hit me listening to it, and just like that is an attitude you want, and that is an attitude Trump does not have. As far as we need to work together. Trump's just like, nah, I know the answer.
Yeah. We as America, yeah. I'll agree with that. I'll concede that issue. I just, for me, it's just she's in there against the only person she could beat, and so I just expect her to win, but not being a crazy person. And as long as she can stay sane and not have a federal which isn't coming down, like it's something like that, some bombshell. Minus a bombshell, it's her election to lose. She did a good job contrasting herself. Also, I think one of the reasons why she was so into talking about the details has a lot to do with the fact that Trump just has no details. There's
exactly.
He's a bumper sticker.
She's playing to one of her few strengths, which isn't speaking. It's saying I give a shit and study the shit out of these things, and Trump doesn't.
Yeah,
and that's a message that makes sense and can hit, even though it's not inspiring.
Well, it's probably hard to go up there and talk about yourself. No one likes that.
I mean, if you're running to be the president, you're a narcissist.
Oh yeah.
So you got to think very highly of yourself. So an inability to talk about yourself in a positive fashion when you're running for the presidency, I feel like is a huge flaw. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're trying to humanize her in ways that just aren't natural to her. I don't know that she is a warm, fuzzy, and likable kind of person. I think she comes across. I think who she is just like a very cold and calculated person. And maybe this is the double standard that a lot of people talk about when they discuss sex. In that, if she was a man and acted this way, people would not find it as problematic as they do when it's
She'd
a woman.
She'd just be a calculating genius or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, or hard-headed instead of a bitch or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Men can't be shrill. That's more of a...
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
That's a coded word.
Men are assertive.
Yes. And logical and linear in thought.
Right, yeah, totally.
Emotion never comes into play.
All right, so another thing I missed while I was soaking up the Midwestern sun, was the cons and their speech and the interactions with Mr. Trump. So why don't you guys help fill me in there?
Tim and I were talking about this. On some level, I almost feel like Trump is trying to throw the election. So this family comes out, the parents of this vet who died in combat, and they give a speech about Mr. Trump's lack of understanding of the Constitution. And I get that he took some shots at Donald, but in response, Donald decides to start talking about the guy's wife and why she didn't talk, and how that must be because Muslim women aren't allowed to talk.
Right. It's such an easy thing if you're a normal politician to say, I respect their son for his service in this family, and I respect their opinion. And that's not even in his head anywhere. It's just fuck that guy. See how his wife didn't talk? I bet it's because they're Muslims. It's like,
exactly.
What?
Yeah, come on, man. It was so easy. And then it's just it falls into the thing where he just where he doubles and triples down and just refuses to back off of a position because he takes everything so personally.
It's crazy. It's kind of side note, but and who knows how legit it is. But I read something about Trump's when they did the roast of Trump on Comedy Central, and they do a list of like topics you can and can't talk about, and the only thing Trump said they couldn't talk about was to say he's not as rich as he says he is. like they made jokes about him wanting to have sex with his daughter. He didn't turn those down. He said no, just don't talk about me not being that rich.
Well, that's probably why he doesn't want his taxes out in the public.
Sure.
Oh,
That
yeah.
and the Russian oligarchy ties, but
There's that too. There's that too.
Right.
Well, also the fact that he's probably like most corporations is effectively paid no taxes. So, and you know, I mean, it's right up there with the bankruptcies where you know, he says, well, I'm just following the rules and playing the game, and it's like that works out fine
for rich guys.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
not if you want to hold office. Hang on one
Yeah,
second, guys.
exactly.
Dude, get out. Go watch Avengers. Go watch Avengers. You need to leave. You need to leave. Go, dude. I'm not talking. You have to go. No, I'm not coming. I'm talking right now. Go right now. 10 minutes. Go.
Real life
You're
on
missing
the Tilting Ground
you're missing
podcast.
Iron Man fight with Hulk. All right, sorry about that, guys.
He's being, yeah. I was
It's
gonna make a
real.
Marvel
It's
joke,
real. It's good
but
to be
I haven't.
real, you know.
That will be cut out. Don't worry.
I think you gotta leave it.
I probably should write that one that happened actually.
Yeah, you should.
11. Okay. All right.
I forgot. What was Tim saying?
Where were we? Shit.
I don't know. Moving back on a somewhat different topic.
Oh, we said we were talking about how he doesn't want to put his taxes out there.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the last thing we said. All right.
Well,
Here we go. Let's restart here.
that's a good finish.
Yeah, I think that we could probably tie that one up. I'll think of another question to ask. Okay, here we go. So back to the con thing. What I feel like what they were trying to do was just show that Muslims are, you know, part of the fabric of American society and they love America too. And Trump just blew it. He just was like he couldn't have handled it worse.
He can't get out of his own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somehow it worked for him in the Republican primaries. But yeah, it's hard to imagine that keep working because boy.
Well, I mean, it works in the Republican primary because there were so many candidates. I feel like if people had done what Scott Walker had indicated that they should have done earlier in the race, he wouldn't have been able to consolidate such a huge base. But you know, I mean, and this is the sad thing, but you know, there's a large section of the not a lot. A demographically large section of the country that feels this way, that doesn't think that Muslims are a part of this country, and you know, there's the one common thread. I think that I saw a statistic on Trump supporters is that they're overwhelmingly white men and or high school grads, and you know, that's just a large segment of the society that our economy has just left behind.
Yeah, especially consider where it used to be. Like, yeah, it used to be you can go get a union job and be good.
Right, and that's no longer the case. I mean,
that doesn't, I mean, I don't think that's ever coming back, but I know people would like it to. I think unions have been kind of cut down, so there's a case to strengthen unions and stuff. But the old school union factor, you know, like,
yeah,
it just doesn't seem like that's the past, not the future. But that was a good past to have if you were just a high school grad, you know?
Right.
It's people just not expecting things to change is the real fault here. And everyone's always so worried about change when everything always changes. That's the one thing you can count on is things are going to change.
Well, and especially, you know, now with technology, it's much more rapid, you know?
Well, there's also the thought that things will change for the better, and you know one man's trash is another man's treasure. I mean, the better is you know, it's relative, and so while I think people understand that things are going to change. There's a lot of people that think that things were going to change in ways that made their life better.
But they have. I mean,
they have and they haven't.
We're beating the same drums like every time we talk about.
The wealth gap has grown. The wealth gap has grown. The ability to find a job that pays you a living wage when you don't have more than a high school diploma is fairly hard. It's almost impossible to find a gig that's going to pay you something that takes you above the poverty line.
I don't know the stat on this. I'm curious, and we should probably look into it. What the percentage of the population now is that doesn't have a high school diploma? Secondary education now is super. Lots of people have it.
That's the thing. Like when people talk about like a college education as some kind of cure-all. Like almost half of people with a 4-year degree don't work in jobs that require a 4-year degree.
Right.
Like it's just a different world. We need a kind of different mind frame to approach it almost. And I don't know what's right or wrong, but yeah, things are definitely changing quickly.
So I'm quoting an educational attainment study from 2014 that has people with high school diplomas is right around 88.3%. Then we go to some college, you've got about 58.5. Then associate degrees is 41.8, and it starts to go down. Then we've got a full bachelor's degree, 31%. Master's/doctorate, 11%. Doctorate / professional degree, so I'm thinking law degrees and like maybe MBAs, 3.2%, and then just straight up doctorates, 1%.
So maybe my coastal elite
are those
percentages
within the 31% that's 4-year degrees, or on top of? Do you know?
Hang on, say that again.
Like, does the 31% that has the 4-year equivalent of a 4-year degree? Is all the other percentage of higher degrees included in that, or would that be on top? Like the 2% that have an MBA, would that pump it up to 33% or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
Probably not.
No, they're not.
It's probably just about a third of people that have a 4-year degree, 31%.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So about a third of us.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people have. I would say that a lot of people that have those 4 degrees that aren't working in jobs that require degrees are probably people who have degrees that are not hard science.
Yeah, exactly. Communications majors or history.
Yeah, poli-sci, English. Yeah.
My philosophy major has gotten me to great places in this world. So how dare you discount those degrees that I'm working in accounting now?
But I mean, there's only so many scientists, right? There's only so many mathematicians.
Well, I don't know about that, man. You can never have enough mathematicians, man, especially given the way in which our society is headed. I mean, if you can do math, then you can learn how to program, and if you can learn to program,
that's the biggest thing we need to do is teach kids to program. Like, integrate that into something, because I know people with 4-year degrees that just went back and learned how to program, and that's what they're doing now, and they're doing great.
No way, guys. The computers will know how to program themselves.
Well, that day is coming.
You've already missed that boat. Like
that day is
definitely the next boat.
Well, no, that's true. That day is definitely coming where we won't even need to code anymore, because the computers will code for us. And
I just read an interesting article about that, though, that says not quite, because your average 1,000 lines of code has anywhere from 15 to 50 mistakes. And just like the people have kind of tried this right now. I mean, I guess it might come eventually, but it's like when you leave the computers on their own, they fuck up because we design them and we fuck them up. I don't know what it is, but.
Well, so I guess the problem that is true, but you will need. You're always going to need a human to arc something, to architect a large program format. But just to do rudimentary coding, that's something that could definitely be outsourced. I mean, and so I guess to say is we don't need as many coders as we would have today, 30 years from now, because there will be machines that are doing some of the stuff that a regular person would have been doing.
Saying we need to learn coding now is not as correct as saying we needed to learn coding 10 years ago.
Right.
Yes.
Kind of, right, yeah. Okay, this is boring. Let's move on to other topics.
I was going to say, like, computer talk. Oof, that's what everyone came here for.
All right. Next question.
We've cut our listeners in half. We're up to 8 now. We're down to 8.
Okay, let me go on this. When we were talking about, like, maybe, or Justin was saying maybe Trump, like, not even, like, just blowing it on purpose. Like, there's been stuff recently about, like, other, like, Republicans, like, figuring out what we do if he drops out or something like that. So who knows what the hell this guy does? I started looking at odds of other candidates
to throw some money on
Republicans. Right, you can get 66-1 on like Paul Ryan and 100 or 200 on like several other like prominent Republicans right now.
But think about what we just talked about.
The fact that they're offering odds means that like they think it's a possibility. Because I don't think they normally do that.
We just said Trump always doubles and triples down on everything he does. There's no way he quits. There's just no way.
I still think that, I mean, like, there's a part of me that thinks that this wasn't because he wanted to be president. This is just because he wanted to run for president and get all the free publicity.
See if he could do it.
But he also doesn't want to lose.
Maybe.
He also doesn't want to lose, though.
But that's true, yeah. Yep. So that's why he might quit.
I don't know. I can't believe
he's already
quit.
He's already planting the seeds in that, like, I think this might be rigged.
Oh,
he's
yeah, I
dropping
heard that
those
today.
comments. Like, I mean, I don't think he will. I think he's just, going to go on with it and then hopefully get crushed. But, like, who knows with him? And that's why today I started looking at odds on other guys because, I mean, if somehow Paul Ryan became their nominee, Hillary Clinton is very vulnerable as a candidate if there was a Republican that people liked.
I don't
yes
think
and
so.
no.
I think she's pretty locked to the state she has.
When you look at demographics and policy, she's fine. But people vote on like a person they like, and no one likes her, and that's her problem. Like, I don't know. She's untrustable. People see her as not trustworthy. And I don't know. I think there's a chance that she's vulnerable if the Republicans actually put someone up there.
No, I think that makes them look worse. It makes them look more disorganized.
Yeah, that ship kind of sailed.
Yeah.
That would have been something to do at the convention if it was something that they thought they were going to do. To take the nomination from him away at the convention and then try and spend 100 days trying to convince people that it's okay that he won all the votes because this is just a private organization and basically we can say whoever we want to be is the nominee.
Right. Let me say that's what's funny about this year's politics is you got two guys on the left and right like Bernie and Donald that were both like I'm not really with your party. And then, like, I'm going to run under your party's nomination, and you guys better fucking change it for me. Or, like, Bernie has I don't know, he's got an argument and support, and it is a platform that, that they, I'm going to go on another side note here, but they push the Democratic platform way to the left, and then they all talk and get a vice president that's like center. Right? Like, I don't know. I was like starting to look at the Democratic platform. It's like that's where you see Bernie's work, but you didn't see it in the convention quite as much, besides like when they had to give him some lip service.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're definitely pivoting to the center.
So actually, I have a good question for both of you. Something I was thinking about. When the Democratic Party emails leaked, and everyone was all up in arms about how it's not fair how they favor a candidate, I thought to myself, well, I mean, I imagine the party always favors a candidate, and we're humans, we all have a bias. Then I heard some pundits talking about how some people I trust who are not exaggerators say, hey, that is a bad thing. The Democratic Party should be completely neutral. What do you guys think? Favoritism, neutrality, is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal?
I'll let you go first, Tim.
I am not a party member, I don't expect them to be neutral. And so this makes sense to me. You know, like if I were an invested part of this party, I would be disappointed. But this is how I think partisan, politics works. And that's how I look at both of these parties. They are, as Justin said, private organizations. And they choose the rules and they do what they want. I think maybe the general population was hoping it wasn't like that or had some illusion that their vote matters or something like that. But it actually does. I mean, whoever got the most votes won. But still, like, that obviously each party is working behind the scenes to do whatever they think will make them the most successful. And obviously that's trying to find the candidate that they think is the most electable. And there's no doubt the same thing was happening behind the scenes in the Republican convention, like trying to get anyone but Trump. They all wanted Bush. Bush had so much freaking money and support. So, I mean, it's not the greatest thing. It's not something that I'm surprised about, though, like, because these are private parties. They're not beacons of freedom and democracy. They're there to promote their views, and they want to get voters on their side, but they also want them to vote the way they want.
Yeah, I mean, I guess being a party member, I hope that isn't the key variable. I just think because I think it's a travesty. I mean, I love that it happened because it's us getting to see hot dogs get made. People thinking that this is a democracy, not understanding that it's never been a democracy. It's a republic, and yeah, this is representative government, and yeah, these parties can do what they want. The problem that I have, that I found the most troubling, is that I kind of got to see what it's like when how someone on the right must feel when they talk to someone on the left. In that,
How so?
Well, so I know what it's like to be on the left trying to talk to someone on the right and them just completely ignoring fact and not wanting to hear what I believe to be reason. But then to find myself having those same conversations with, we'll call them Hillary supporters, where they're just like, where they're unfazed by these revelations. They're just like, yes, so what? It doesn't matter because it favors them. But if it hadn't favored them, they feel completely different. And this is a woman who ran as the anti-establishment candidate and claimed to not be the establishment candidate, and like they tore into Bernie Sanders for pointing out the fact that she was the establishment candidate, and she routinely and repetitively denied being the establishment candidate, and this showed that was all horseshit. So
I mean, no one wants to be the establishment candidate. That's for losers.
No one wanted to be the establishment candidate this year because this is the election of the anti-establishment candidate. But
not in the primaries this year. Maybe in the general election.
I think you only want to be the establishment if you're like the sitting president or you're the incumbent senator. Like you don't. If you're trying to win a spot, you need to be different. You can't be establishment. I mean, it's just.
I got to disagree with you
because
I got to disagree with you. Because, I mean, maybe if you're Al Gore running in 2000, when you're trying to distance yourself from Bill Clinton, but Hillary Clinton is running on the Obama platform. She's running on she wants the Obama coalition. So she has to be establishment because she's basically saying, look at the last 8 years. I was a part of all that. If you want more of that, vote for me. I mean, that's what her argument. Well, at this point, her argument has turned into, I'm not that crazy fucking guy over there. But when she was in the primary,
her argument right now is just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
let Donald shoot himself in the foot.
Yeah, let it burn. But
honestly,
but to those, I thought those emails were bad. But back to the question you asked, people just didn't care, and I thought that was so disheartening. Like, people on the right lost their minds, and I understand. And I mean, and people, and when it happens to the opposing party, people do lose their minds. But I found it fascinating to be sitting with people who I thought like were more about the issues and less concerned about party affiliation, just like brush it off as like, ah, no big deal. I mean, it's pretty powerful. I mean, those emails showed that the Democratic Party basically, not only did they not want him to win, that they took active steps to try to prevent him from winning. And
yeah,
and
well,
so
I think most of these, I'm not sure, and like I feel like a lot of these were after that Nevada brawl where Wasserman Schultz and the Bernie Sanders campaign got into it, and like at that time for me, it became obvious that Wasserman Schultz was anti-Bernie, like no doubt in my mind, and likely working against them. And it did suck that she's in charge for the Democratic, party, or but like also I'm not a Democrat, so I don't
know. Yeah, I mean, I guess the reason why in my mind, the reason why it was a big deal is because she stepped down.
Well, no, I mean,
if it wasn't a big deal, then she wouldn't have stepped down. She stepped down in order to kill the story.
Well, I agree, but like for me personally, I agree with the average person, but I'm on top of that shit. It was very obvious when there was like that kind of contention in the Nevada primaries after the fact about the delegates and everything, and there was a lot of fighting, and it was a lot of Bernie versus Debbie. To me it became obvious that she was not impartial then. Obviously, she wasn't impartial before then, and I didn't necessarily think that, but it was clear that she was blatantly impartial then.
Oh well, I guess in
I
my
think
mind
most people should have seen that, but they probably didn't.
I thought it was obvious earlier, even when they had from the start when O'Malley talked about it and Bernie talked about it when they released the debate schedule, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of debates. I mean, sorry, we're not gonna have a bunch. We're gonna have like 3, and they're gonna be on at 8 p.m. on Saturday.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's like we don't want anybody watching this shit. Like because she had the name recognition, there's an obvious attempt to try to stifle the other candidates. And again, in my mind, it's all right to do that if you're going to be honest about what you're doing. And so if they just come out and say we want her to be the nominee and we're not really interested in what any of you have to say, then just do that and then own it. Kind of like I didn't mind the Iraq War if Bush would just say like, well, there's oil and other geopolitical reasons for why we're going to go invade. But when you tell a lie, it's just like, all right, well, that's what you said it was and it isn't, and now that's problematic. So
yeah, let me just I just want to make a separate quasi-related point on primaries. Is this is ridiculous, our system, and like I don't know how to fix it, but if we had like open primaries, like all parties nationally for the presidency, and just like the top 2 vote getters go to a runoff, I don't know. I think that would be better. Like in California, like we have 2 Democrats in the runoff for the senator. Like we're gonna have a Democratic senator because it's an open primary and the 2 Democrats got the most votes. And it seems like if we did that on a larger scale nationally for the president, all these crazy fringe candidates would be eliminated quicker. Maybe I don't know. That's my thought.
I think you would. I think that would drive the pockets of polarization.
Yeah, but eventually you got to hit some threshold to get there, and if you're not getting 20%, you're going to get cut out sooner. I don't know. If it's not partisan, then you're going to need to have more national appeal to get to whatever the next round and the next round, like whether it's a 10% threshold.
But then
and then people go on.
Don't the more populous states have a built-in advantage in something like that?
Yeah, but they do anyway. They have more electoral votes.
But it seems to spread itself out evenly.
Not
really, but
I guess I would say this. You were in Illinois, so that you might have seen something, but you might have seen more ads. But when in California, we don't see the political ads like the rest of the country does. I mean,
we don't see shit. Yeah, they just assume we're voting Democrat and they leave us alone.
Yeah, because like when I remember the first time I realized how bad it was the night before my wedding. My my father-in-law broke his hip, and I took him to the hospital, and I was in the waiting room watching. It was on Fox, and I couldn't change. But that wasn't what was so disturbing. It was every single commercial break was for some state senator or for some whoever running this, that, and the third. And I was like, wow, I never see ads like this. This is crazy.
I know. One of my buddies Snapchats me Hillary ads. He's in Minnesota right now.
Okay.
I think I saw my first Hillary one like on the last night when I was watching the town hall there for the Libertarians. And so it's like, yeah, that's a national ad buy, not a California ad buy, you know.
Well, Justin, you said something that actually is going to segue into a question I wanted to ask both of you. You were talking about how when you were talking with emails with people you know in your own party, it was like talking to someone from the right. They just not hearing what you're saying. It's all about their side winning.
Yeah.
My question is two-parter. Do you think, or how do you feel? I think I've said this before too. First, are people more concerned about being right as opposed to being wrong? Like you'd rather just show how right you are as opposed to making sure you're making the right choices and not making the wrong choices? As secondly, how do you filter through information? Because it's really hard.
Was that to me first, or?
Well, whoever's ready to go.
I would say the distinction is more about people want to win. It's not so much about being right or wrong. Those aren't the issues. I think people are more concerned with just winning, and I think that makes it easier to kind of siphon out the distinction between being right and being wrong. I don't think people are necessarily cared about right and wrong. They just want to be on the winning side of the argument, however that appears to them.
Let me throw one thing in there on the right and wrong. I think people just assume they're right. And that's how they work. And like when they get information that doesn't go with what they believe, they discount it. And when they get information that confirms what they believe, they shout it from a mountaintop. You know, like people believe they're right, and that's almost an unshakable faith in them, even though it's irrational sometimes. Sorry for interrupting.
No.
That's probably more true than what I was saying. Yeah, people operate in the position that they're right, but I guess that begs the question when they get into conversations with other people and they're shown evidence to the contrary, they ignore the fact and they either refuse to believe what you're saying is true or they become non-responsive to a critique, and that's when I think it becomes more about just winning.
Right.
And also part of me when I say people are more concerned about winning is that I would often talk to people about Hillary versus Bernie, and they would all say, "Yeah, I really like Bernie, but he can't win, so I'm not going to vote for him."
Which is a really weird thing to say.
Yeah, which is like, yeah, you only can't win if you don't vote for him. So
I believe in all this stuff. However, I will not vote when I vote.
Yeah, exactly. So I would talk about just the idiotic statements, but they happen. In terms of how I siphon or filter out being right from wrong,
well, not so much being right from wrong. It's more like Tim kind of touched on it. When you see a story and it confirms something you believe, do you even bother to click on it, or do you just read the lead? Or when you see something that you disagree with, do you click on it to see what they're actually saying? There's just so much information out there. I'm just curious what people do. I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons to do this, is to just get ideas and thoughts out there, because I have no idea how to filter the fire hose. That's what my friend calls it, the fire hose of information. It just hits you in the face, and you just don't know what to do. Yeah. It's almost paralyzed. The paralyzation of choice. Being paralyzed by choice.
I hear you. There was an excellent. I did something like that happened to a buddy of mine on Facebook. He was posting something about like Black Lives Matter and why he thought that was silly, and he posted this article. And that, like, the title suggested that it was anti-Black Lives Matter, and that, like, people of color weren't killed more often by police officers, but then when you read the article, that's exactly the exact opposite of what's actually in the content. And so I just I posted like, hey man, you might want to read the article, like what you just posted. But for me, I check the source. So the first thing I do whenever I see a headline is look to see where it came from.
There's so many bad sources out there.
Yeah. There's a lot of ridiculousness out there. I mean, like I will say this, like I'm never gonna believe anything I see that comes from Breitbart.
No, never.
I just can't. I couldn't.
That's a hard pass.
Yeah. But
sorry guys out there.
Yeah, I think I check the source, and if it comes from somewhere or an outlet that I believe to be at least like marginally credible, then I'll read it, and if it's something that's uber to the left, like Mother Jones or something like that, I understand that I'm reading an article that's definitely got an agenda, and I have to own that and understand that they got an agenda. So that's my take.
Yeah, mine on that one is. You got to take everything with a grain of salt, and one of my favorite things to do is try to check out a few different sides. Like, what does Fox News have to say about something versus what does the Huffington Post have to say about something, or and
right. That's what I try to do.
And obviously the same as Justin. Like, where it's coming from. You obviously got to consider the source. But I like to try to read. It's funny because as you go on, you find what you like and what you agree with and what you don't. So sometimes it's hard to go with the stuff you hate and. But I don't know. I think it's important to always read different sources and that. And
I know no one's gonna believe this, but I try to actively seek out articles that go against how I think on an issue. Check my point.
For me too, actually, like I am a pro GMO guy, and I consistently read the anti-GMO articles and whatever. Like it's an interesting topic, and I get arguments against it. I'm not big on pesticides and the GMOs that let you spray pesticides on them. I'm not that big on, but there are GMOs that are trying to make rice more nutritious so that kids don't die of malnutrition in Asia. And
are we talking about golden rice?
Yeah. Oh. I know there's a debate about it.
Right.
But at least the effort is noble. Like, I don't think this is some Monsanto conspiracy to take over the world. People are trying to make food more nutritious. Like, that is a part of it, and that's not something we should freaking bag on just because it's maybe not as successful as they want it to be, or just because you hate the new technology.
Yeah, Monsanto is like the Jose Canseco of like everything. I mean, they just you're gonna kill the messenger. Like anything that comes from Monsanto is gonna be questioned and
exactly. And that's like if I make any argument in favor of GMOs, people start questioning about Monsanto's business practices. It's like that's not the argument I'm making whatsoever.
Right. GMOs is actually interesting because I originally thought GMOs were bad, and then I started reading and realizing that the jury's still kind of out on the whole, like, whether or not GMOs are bad. There's no definitive evidence one way or the other.
It's a really broad term, too. I mean,
yeah, and that's another thing, that what it means to be GMO is like...
Every crop that we eat has been genetically modified by humans. It's just a technique, and this is a newer technique,
Everyone thinks it's putting fish DNA, spider DNA inside an apple.
It's like if you go to the store and look at a corn of the cob and look at that. That is not the non-pesticide, locally farmed, whatever the fuck. Corn, that's not what real corn looks like.
That didn't come off the ark with Noah.
Yeah. Real corn is like a third of the size, and it's like usually brown. So I mean,
watermelon too, like is nowhere near.
They're like softball size in nature.
And not like inside, not edible. And we tweaked them because that's what humans do. We make it better for us. We hope to. Sometimes we make it worse.
We're just trying, guys. We're just trying. This is the point of, change is good. Just embrace change.
No, you do.
I agree.
You have to
Nothing will ever be the same.
No, that is the one thing that is consistent, is that everything will change. But it's scary, and I think that back to the whole to tie it into the whole Trump thing, that's what a lot of his supporters don't want. They don't want change. They want to go back. There was that interesting Daily Show riff or bit that they did where they went and asked people like, "Oh, when was America great?" And then people would start naming these times, and then the reporters are like, they call them out on like everything that was wrong with the time that they called out. I mean, like from a social standpoint, today is better than any other time.
Always. Today is always better than.
And even like that people don't want to accept, it's still for the most part economically. Like in the 70s, you had to wait in line with an opposite, whatever your number license plate was to get gas. I mean, I know people.
You're talking about the Carter administration, right? In the fuel crisis, that wasn't like the whole 70s. That was just a small portion of the 70s.
I'm just saying, people forget about all those little things that sucked and think it was all great back then.
Like not being able to vote.
Yeah, I guess with the economics, there's
let me say
differences
this.
There.
Okay, let me go on a little economic rant.
Go on the economic rant. I want to retort. Go.
Okay. Middle class, when we were coming out of World War II, was 1 car per family, like 5 people in a house with 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. People that now, I mean, I know people have been left behind, but a lot of people complaining are ones with freaking walk-in closets and 3 cars for like a 3-family house. I don't think people take into account how much better our quality of life has gotten. Like sharing a bathroom with your freaking kids sucks, and that was the middle class back, like back in when America was great or something. I don't know. That's argument, my one thing.
Okay, keep going. I don't cut you off.
No, I was pretty much closing out there. That's like the one thing I want to say that no one ever mentions that should be mentioned.
So I'm gonna say that's a similar argument that gets made when people talk about, the people of color shouldn't complain about their standard of living here in the United States because their standard of living anywhere else in the world would be lower.
I get it. I get it, and I agree.
I think that's different.
Things just be
better. It's the same thing, because what he's saying is the argument that he made was that in the 70s, being middle class meant this. And
let me say this. I live in freaking Southern California. I have well below an average income, and there's nothing wrong with my life. Like, I get that there is a ways we have to go, and especially for a lot of people. And I don't want to discount the people that are complaining, but a lot of people that are complaining are living lives better than I live. And like, I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of hearing it. Like, come on now. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. And that's not to say, that's not the people that are being discriminated against or living in poverty. That's like the Trump fans that are claiming somehow that their life is terrible right now. Like, that's who that's addressed to. I'm not trying to be a dick.
I hear you. I just think that's what's the matter with Kansas. I mean, that's just people that vote against their economic interest because he's saying something that fits their social interest. But my retort is that everyone lives a better life now than they did in the 70s. Being rich, I mean, like, look, think about it. I mean, my household income puts me in, the top like 13% or whatever in the United States. And let's just talk about what I can do now that no one in the top 1% could do in the 80s. I can literally right now, I have a small computer in my pocket where I can open it up, turn it on, and in the next 2 hours, I can have groceries here at my house.
That's what I'm saying. Where is the rejoice and how great things are getting? It's only disappointment, and I get there are places to go, but I hate this overwhelming negative sentiment that seems to be taking over. Like, I don't know.
I guess what I'm saying is, it's all relative. So when you say, yeah, people now have a better life than poor people now had a better life than poor people in the 70s, 80s, or the middle class. What I'm saying is everyone does.
They're still poor.
Yeah, they're still
and
poor. That doesn't change.
Yes, but that's also the quality of life goes up more with an open economy than it does with a closed economy. I mean,
we're talking. I never advocated for a closed economy. I'm really just talking about, like you said, economically things are better now than they were back in the 70s. And my only contention is that I mean, we have the largest wealth gap now since the Gilded Ages. I mean, we're talking about like pre-Depression era. Like,
I don't disagree with you there, and I think the biggest problem with that is somehow we're taxing dividends and capital gains at a lower rate than labor, and that is absolute bullshit.
Agreed.
But I don't know. I just hate the negative sentiment. Like I don't think people spend enough time realizing how good it is, and not everyone, and people have a right to complain, but like the people that are complaining have less of a right to complain than the people that are going about their business and trying to make their life better.
I think
for a lot of the part, I don't know.
I think
it's the Trump fans that are bitching just piss me off so much because look how great you have it.
You only you only hear the people who complain though. Like
that's true. That was the email point of like we hear the people yelling on social media. And I hate to give Nixon credit for any silent majority, but sometimes there is one that we don't quite see as much.
No, it's true. It's the vocal minority is all you hear, and they're the ones who make you mad. They're the ones who, they're the ones who don't change their opinion based on facts.
And they're the ones posting on Facebook. I guess
memes that don't make sense. That you're like, wait, what? Right. Like you have to step back. The problem is when you let that stuff get to you. You're the one who needs to step back. Like you have to be the adult.
Well,
it's hard.
No, well, that's why I'm making this rant is to try to convince people to goddamn be positive because I am, even though like by what everyone posts I shouldn't be. I am, like, and why not more people be that? It's like this duality of life when you talk about like what's the right message to give, and to the people being oppressed, you want to tell them to do everything they can to get better, but to the people doing oppressing, you want to tell them to back off, like bullying. Like, if you're getting bullied, the right message is to try to stand up for yourself. But if someone's doing the bullying, it's like, stop bullying. Like there's this duality that's kind of conflicting, but
that's the history of the world.
Sense. Right, exactly. And like, I don't know if we can all come to terms with that. Like, it's cool to tell people like stop bullying, and it's also cool to tell people to like stand up for yourself. And I don't know. Like, I feel like we're missing this place where it comes together.
I think it's much easier to tell the victimized to change their behavior because they are aware of the consequences of their behavior, whereas the oppressor or the victimizer isn't necessarily aware that they're doing anything wrong.
I agree,
they're not experiencing consequences.
But all I'm saying is, like, both messages are important. Like, when you talk about, especially like wage gaps with women, like, yes, you should tell employers to stop paying women less or to include more women, or especially minorities on like boards. But also, you need to tell women. That sounds bad to tell women, but you need to encourage women. You need to encourage women to negotiate, more for their wages and other stuff that like they can do on their end that would help them.
We're in a serious minefield. We're on a serious minefield that we should probably back out of. But I will say this. I don't think that it has less to do with women necessarily not negotiating well, and more to do with the expectation that men have of women when it comes to like, oh, so you plan on getting pregnant. Well, then we need to take that into account when making you an offer.
I agree wholeheartedly, but I'm saying they're both, like, it's still an issue, and it should be incompatible to both tell tell the system it needs to be more. What's going on over there?
That's my kid. My kid's losing his
It should be unacceptable to both tell, the people in charge that you need to be more accepting and understanding of women, and to tell women that, like, hey, what would help you better is to do better at negotiate. I don't know. Maybe it's a total dick move.
Yeah, you might have picked the wrong.
but we need a better example.
No, but I'm not gonna lay down on this because there's
You and the Donald.
tons of studies that show that men are paid higher because they negotiate more in salary.
Well,
so when you see that study, why shouldn't you tell a woman friend, like, hey, you need to stand tougher in negotiations
But
because
that goes
that's one
into
of
how
the
they're
differences.
socialized when women are girls and they're growing up, they go to schools and doing math. They're pushed into different jobs.
I agree, and I'm just saying they're not contradictory messages to be on the support of the woman. Like, here's what you got to do to work the system, and then to also put pressure on the system to be like, here's what you got to do to not be so freaking sexist. I don't think those are contradictory points of views, and yet they are, and I'm being a dick for expressing them.
I don't know that you're being a dick for expressing them. I think that one thing that gets lost is that our society, this society that we live in today, the United States, was created by and for. We don't have to put race in at this point. I think I'm just trying to walk us back from the gender gap at this point. Was created for women, and for men.
Okay. Let me one more time. I think I'm not getting my point out clear. If your wife was that, or your sister, your daughter, your mom at her job was feeling frustrated, what would be the advice you would give her? Like, hey, if men are getting paid more than you, then go and negotiate and say, like, I don't know. I don't think it's bad to try to help them with negotiating skills or to say, like, this is a part of the issue and this is something you can do to change it. It's one of the very few things, but what's bad about that? I would say that same thing to a guy. Like, if you're getting screwed in your pay, go and negotiate.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm gonna leave it to you. I'm not a woman, so I don't really know what to say. But
all I'm thinking is, like, if someone I loved was having trouble with their job, like, as far as, like, not getting paid as much, like, I would encourage them to go in and use negotiating tactics and help.
But I think trouble and gender inequality are a little different.
No, yeah. It's true. I'm just saying.
I know what you're trying to say.
I mean, yeah, it's.
I think
shut up. But there's nothing wrong with encouraging people who have been discriminated against to doing the best they can to make the best out of a bad situation, while encouraging, like, trying to end discrimination.
Oh, well, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
that's a little different.
That's the general point I'm making.
You articulated it much better at the end than you did at the beginning.
I that's why I was trying to keep talking, because I knew there was a point there that wasn't horrible.
I think you saved yourself.
Good job.
Right, but seriously, if you know someone who's being discriminated against and you know a way that can help, like there's nothing wrong with trying to empower them. While also, I just don't think those are contradictory ideas, and they are in society sometimes. I don't know. I'll shut up now.
We could pause for a moment.
Pause for a moment. Hang on, I gotta do what? So the TV put on something that you're not supposed to watch? Is that what happened? Well, I don't think that's what happened. I think you might have changed the channel, but. Oh. King of the Hill. Yeah, you shouldn't be watching this show. I think Cartoon Network just went Adult Swim on us. All right, there you go, dude. Sorry about that. All right, we're good.
All right, here we go. All right, let's switch gears into something a little more fun before we get out of here. Besides the wage gap, and
my idea to blame women for it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That wasn't my idea. Swear to God, I want them to get paid as much.
All right, vice presidential debate. Who's more boring? Go.
I'm gonna say Kane because he doesn't really have any radical ideology behind him. Right? I mean, he literally is like milk toast. I mean, he's just.
Whereas
Whereas Pence is like, I mean, he's got the whole gay stuff going on, the anti-gay legislation, the immigrants, the immigration stuff. It's sexier in the sense that he's going to say something. He's more likely to say something outlandish and crazy than Kane.
Yeah, for sure. And people like don't expect it because it's just like, oh, Trump picked someone, so he can't be as bad as Trump, but maybe he will be.
Yeah, I mean, at least when it comes to
on a couple things, yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to marriage, defensive marriage, and transgender rights and all that stuff. Pence is definitely keyed up to say some uber offensive stuff. So
true. All right,
yeah.
one more fun one before we get out of here. You, in our lifetime, since we're in the middle of it, when let's see,
I'm just getting started.
In 20 years,
I'm on the back edge.
So in 20 years from now, will a presidential candidate have a rap song as their theme song?
Oh my God, yes.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
20 years from now, I still don't know.
Here's why I'm going to say yes.
Well, is it like a song they play one time in the campaign, or like their theme song?
The one you come out to, like your pump up song when you go give your speech at the convention.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
Politics is old and boring.
But 20 years from now, we'll be the old and boring people.
Yeah, it's definitely
and then we'll be like, I don't want to scare off people with this hip hop.
You're not going to scare
anybody
off.
Freaking Fleetwood Mac.
I'm going to point to the reason why I say yes is I'm going to point to Star Trek Beyond. I saw it's not the greatest movie in the world, but there is they integrate hip hop into the movie, and the crew's reaction to the music is like, this is classical music, right?
Like it's jazz or something?
Yeah, they're just like, this is classical music. Why are we listening to this? And so at some point, it's going to, I mean, look, you already had Marco Rubio talking about Biggie versus Tupac and how he was more of a Tupac guy or a Biggie guy or something like that. It's going to happen.
But the music they play is just boring or just like total vanilla pop.
To us?
Yeah. Okay, well, they're not going to play like Bitch Better Have My Money is the fucking theme song. But like... Yeah, but I could see them coming out to like a Will Smith jam.
Or like some pop rap song right now.
Yeah.
MC Hammer Pray.
Some Drake song.
Yeah, or like Ja Rule and what's the Puerto Rican girl's name? That's all famous? No. The one who's in movies now.
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah. Like one of their songs, like something like that. Like just it'll be something upbeat. It's not going to be like I'm selling dope and killing people.
My guess is before we get a good rap song, we're going to get like some kind of Latin song, like a Suavemente,
Oh,
Ooh,
for sure.
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, that's definitely happening. Well, also the rap song won't be whoever the first guy to play the rap song as his theme music. It won't be the black president. It'll be a white guy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Fox News would tear up a black guy.
God, it'd be the worst. It'd be so funny.
We have that to look forward to when we're old and gray.
Good times.
All right. Justin, Tim, thank you for straightening out my political views. I appreciate the time.
I swear to God, I'm not sexist. I said that wrong. I have to go finish, right? I want women to get paid equally.
I think they understand. The ladies hear you.
Yeah, they get you. All right.
All two of them that are listening.
As always, what a time to be alive.
God bless us all.
Yes, and God bless the United States of America.
Right. Hey, let me